Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Please take a seat. So, who are you?
I'm a defense lawyer, Your Honor, and I'm here because I would like to, well, my client would like to put the Ecostream shop down Western Road on trial. This shop is complicit in the illegal settlements that Israel has on the West Bank.
Let me see. Could I suggest a date of February the 23rd?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, at 1 o'clock I think would be a good time to start.
Yeah.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Silence! I said silence in court! This is a court, for God's sake, and this is no minor issue that we have to deal with today. Ecostream, the shop right behind me, has been accused of breaking international law.
Oh, boo!
Breaking international law, for God's sake! Will the claimant, which I hope has good reason to start this madness, the prosecutor and their witness, which I believe to be a Bedouin from the West Bank, come stand behind their table, please. Please, hurry, hurry. We need to make progress. Now, will the Ecostream representative, his lawyer and their witness, which I'm informed works in the West Bank factory that supplies Ecostream, come forward and stand behind your table, please. Very well. The proceedings will begin. Prosecutor, let us all know what your charges against Ecostream are.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, I'll be very brief, but the issue is really a very simple matter. Claimant, right here next to me, is a fizzy drink lover and a recycling maniac, and was thrilled when, after he entered this shop for the first time, he discovered that there was now a place in Brighton for him to indulge in his two passions.
Well, then why on earth did he put Ecostream on trial, for God's sake? I have no interest in your anecdotes, but get to the point.
Well, he put Ecostream on trial because he is the son of a Palestinian whose lands were taken from him by the Israeli government in order to build the Male Adumim settlement.
And what's that got to do with Ecostream?
Everything, Your Honor. For this settlement sustains Ecostream's activities. SodaStream, which is Ecostream's parent company, has its main factory in that settlement. This means that SodaStream profits from the illegal settlements that successive Israeli governments have been aggressively promoting for decades and that have repeatedly been condemned by the international law that Israel's government has no interest at all in respecting.
And do you have any evidence to sustain these very serious accusations?
I certainly do, Your Honor.
So, show us your evidence then. So what's
This
this?
is a compendium of UN resolutions condemning the illegal Israeli settlement, which I'd like to present at first look. As you can see, it is quite heavy and somewhat dusty. You'll have to excuse me for that, Your Honor. There are several such resolutions, and since they don't get read that often, they've accumulated quite a lot of dust over the years.
And is this all the evidence you have?
Certainly not, Your Honor. Let me present you this second piece of evidence. Now, this second piece of evidence is a report on SodaStream by the NGO Corporate Watch about SodaStream's settlement activities. You'll find there all the details that you need to know about their activities in that area.
Very interesting. So, is that your evidence finished?
No, Your Honor. This third piece of evidence, Your Honor, is a letter from Richard Falk, which is a distinguished emeritus law professor from Princeton University and the United Nations Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights on the Palestinian territories, on which he calls on the UN General Assembly and civil society to take action against Israel and international businesses that are profiteering from the Israeli settlements.
And are you finished now?
No, Your Honor, I haven't finished. I'd like to call now my witness, Wara Yahud. Now, she is one of the many Bedouins who were displaced by the settlement where Ecostream's parent company has its main factory. Can you please stand here, Wara?
Yes, go on, Roger. What do you have to say, Roger?
Wara.
Silence in court! Let's hear Roger.
What about the 500 workers who work for SodaStream?
Wara. Tell us when we were evicted from your land.
It was in the late 1990s when the illegal settlement, which had been there for some 20 years, started to expand. They brought the big weapons and told me and the rest of my people, more than 1,000 of us, that we had to leave. They gave us no reason.
And where do you live now?
I now live on the barren hills, on the drive from Jerusalem down to the Dead Sea, but I don't know for how long. Perhaps the government of that gentleman over there will set aside that those hills make good summer house locations, and then they'll come again, hiding behind their guns.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Order! Order in court! I say silence in court, if you will!
Palestine.
Silence in court! Silence! What's this madness, for God's sake? This is the House of Justice! Show some respect! Defence lawyer, please step forward and have your say.
Thank you, Your Honour. It was about time I was starting to feel ill because of this theatre and misrepresentation. The prosecutor has painted a horribly distorted picture of my client's firm. Ecostream and its parent company, SodaStream, are committed to making good to the world because the shop right behind you is committed to environmental sustainability. This shop sells refillable recipients so that its clients can come back and refill them.
What about the 500 Palestinian workers who don't want your help?
Order in the court! Please be silent or we will have you arrested!
It's not greenwash at all, Your Honour. Again, the true nature of Ecostream is being distorted, this time by the member of the public which is probably paid by the prosecution to disrupt the procedures of this honourable court.
Objection, Your Honour. He cannot say that.
Silence, everybody! I'm getting tired of this circus. Defence lawyer, stop your clowning around and proceed.
My witness here, Mr. Hamid Hassan, is one of the hundreds of Palestinians, 500 as we've been informed continuously today, employed by the factory that can testify about this. May I proceed to question him, Your Honour?
Yes, you may. Please come forward, Hamid.
Hamid, tell us how long you've been working at the SodaStream factory for.
I've been there for 3 years now.
Were you employed before you were hired by the factory?
No, I was not. I've been unemployed for 2 years before I got this job.
Very well. I know you live with your 2 brothers and your sister. Now tell me, do your brother and sister have jobs?
My sister is a school teacher, and one of my brothers managed to get some money by doing odd jobs. My younger brother has been unemployed for 2.5 years now.
Now, of the 3 of you who has some form of employment, who earns the most?
I earn 2 times what my sister earns, and much more than my older brother.
Your Honour, I could go on and on, but I think you get the point. SodaStream's factory is a blessing to all of the people of Ma'al as a mean and the surrounding area.
Settlement. Excuse me, what did you say? What I'm saying is Ma'al Adumim is not just a neighborhood, as they call it. It's an illegal Israeli settlement, which is located on the illegal occupied Palestinian territory. That settlement.
Excuse me, Your Honour, I'm done with my witness. He may now go back to his seat.
No, I have something more to say. I'm not going to let you make me an actor in a play that you are performing. That settlement.
This is no place for public speeches, Hamid. You may go back to your seat and sit quiet.
Defence lawyer, who do you think you are? This is my court and not yours. Your witness has something else to say. He may do so before I deliberate to give my final verdict, so that you can be done with this circus. Hamid, please step forward and tell us what you would like to say.
That settlement, I was saying, Ma'al Adumim, is meant for Israelis, and not for everybody around. It is true that I earn more than most of my family. It's even true that I earn more than most Palestinians in the area. There might even be some truth in saying that I'm treated better at that workplace than most of my friends. But that is only half of the story, the good-looking half. If that factory wasn't there, if that settlement wasn't there, if none of the illegal settlements were there, we Palestinians might have been able to build our own easy drink factories. If we were able to have our factory, to have our roads, to move freely in our country without having to pass through checkpoint after checkpoint. I would be able to go without having to bear people such like him, expecting me to be grateful because I'm treated decently at my workplace. On the contrary, I would go work expected to be treated decently, and I would be outraged if that wasn't the case. And outraged as the average Israeli would be if he was treated respectfully in his workplace. This will cost me my work, Your Honor, but I have to say this. Yes, Ecostream has improved my life. Yes, that probably improved the life of the hundreds of Palestinians it employs. But it doesn't imply that that factory, that settlement, indeed that does not imply that any settlement should be there. Make no mistake, Your Honor. Working at Ecostream is the second best option. What we Palestinians really want to see is an end to this settlement madness. If my job at Ecostream had led anybody to think otherwise, let that person know that I did it for survival. That is what I have to say, Your Honor.
Thank you, Hamid. That was very illuminating. Silence in the court. I have now reached my verdict, and I'm about to say it. I've listened carefully to the prosecution witness Wanda. It's clear that the Ecostream factory is built on land that's been stolen from Palestinians. I've listened to the defence witness Hamid. It's clear that the settlements have destroyed the lives of Palestinians, and they're employing a few hundred people in a factory will never make up for that. The situation is pretty clear. Ecostream is complicit in the expansion of Israel's illegal settlements. Ecostream is complicit in the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people. Ecostream is complicit in Israel's racist and apartheid occupation of Palestine. Furthermore, I've heard how Israel has breached numerous UN resolutions and has never held to account for it. I've heard how the UN Special Rapporteur calls on civil society to take action against companies like Ecostream, which profit from Israel's illegal settlements. I rule that the shop behind me has no place in this city or in any